It's game over. Blunder. A blunder with time pressure.
It's the moment we've all been waiting for. We have bloodshed. This is game 11 of the World Chess Championship. We got Gukesh D with the white pieces, Ding Liren with black, and what an opening variation, because after knight f3, Areti spaghetti, d5 from Ding, Gukesh now goes c4, an explosive move, and Ding doesn't go e6, a kind of solid move, right? Would we head back into a Queen's Gambit or something, or a Catalan? No, he goes d4, bit sharper, because the pawn structure can change a lot now, and it's what we see, because before Ding can do anything else, Gukesh plays this outlandish move, but it's not really, right? Shades of the orangutan or Polish variation, right? Very, very exciting already, and after c5, fighting for the centre some more, we don't see takes, of course, just not in the spirit of the position. You know, you're looking to give black a couple pawns, maybe kind of Genko Bambit styley, and that's why Gukesh goes e3. He's going for these crazy dynamic structures. If captures, this is the kind of thing that can ensue, and what a center. Sorry, d4 first, not a3. Bang bang, this looks fun to play. a3 could be on the way. So we didn't see takes. Instead, Ding plays a different move 4, but bro chills so hard this time for 38 minutes. That's a third of his time that he literally freezes. This is unreal. Finally goes knight f6. How do you use that much time on move 4? This is insane. World Championship match. And now this is such a weird move. Cooked up in the kitchen at home, right? Pawn to a3. Now obviously that's common once the pawn is captured, but looks really strange to me to do it here. But okay, now if takes, I guess you're prepared to take back. And these are some of the candidate moves for black, right, that Ding could have gone for, but he's already getting kind of lost in the minefield of it all, or the maze or whatever. He decides to go bishop g4. Common idea in these structures, you know, this knight is a huge influence on the center, but after takes, pawn recaptures, h3, bishop taking, because if you retreat then you get g4, and remember the whole point is that you want to gain more control over the center. Queen takes, pawn defended by the queen. This is the moment where Gukesh has a narrow path here for a decent advantage. He could play the advance of the c-pawn. Very nice structure on the dark squares, and complementing this one, because if it's undermined like this, you can go check, knight c6, and you're in time with bishop b2 to cover your rook, to pressure the center. d3 could be coming, castles, knight d2, really harmonious. This bishop solved its development problem, but Gukesh misses this idea. He instead plays pawn d3, sets up the upside down bathtub. We love to see it on the board, and after a5, he's now obliged to play b5, or you can capture, but that looks really nasty, and he's given up this massive square which Ding can now target already with one of the ponies. He's got the dark squared grip. This bishop's kind of crying now, and it's Gukesh's turn to go absolutely deep in the tank. If you thought 38 minutes was a long time, right, check this one out. Pawn to g3, 1 hour spent on that move. Wow. But to be fair to Gukesh, he has some real problems to solve, because after this seahorse is spawned here, you can already see where it's hopping. Here potentially, hitting a rook and a bishop. Then you're losing in exchange, right? But Gukesh allows it, plays bishop g2. This is all the craziness he was calculating. It is actually the best move. You hit this b7 pawn, and if the knight hops, well, this is how the line goes. So the queens come off, the bishop captures, rook a7 natural, and you've got this all-important check. Blocking with the knight is best, then bishop b2, so you do give an exchange, but in compensation, you get this huge activity with the bishops. You've got a passed pawn here, and the king can actually come and sit over here near this one, excuse me, bring a rook to the e-file. So okay, it's a dynamic kind of balance, different.
Mushrooms.
So Ding doesn't hop in immediately, keeps everything glued, plays an incredible move here, just wouldn't be on my radar. He pivots round with knight f to d7. Has he completely forgotten which way his pieces are supposed to move? Well, no. Headed for e5 here, and then you've got massive problems. You know, if bishop f4 to try and fight against it, then e5. Yes, you can pin the pawn, but you can develop and block that pin. This is how the line could go, and black is absolutely steamrolling in the center. Not what you want to see. So this one's not ideal. Instead, we see castles, allowing knight e5, and this is the response that Gukesh has prepared. Queen f4, but he is walking a tightrope here. You know, all these pieces still stuck on the Etienne back row. His backwards pawn here massively under fire, and he's only just holding this together because if this knight takes, you pick up the queen, and if this one takes, well, then you can go queen e4, or you can even take in the center. Suddenly it's game on again. Complicated, boards opening up for the bishops. Okay, you can take, but different game. Instead, Ding plays the excellent rook to d8, covering the central pawn, and now rook d1 adds defense. Again, if takes, you can take, and knight takes, and the queen drops. So instead, black needs to develop, and Ding does it wrong. He should go e6 here. That's the way to develop the bishop, because after a4, excellent move, looking to develop this way, now the bishop comes and sits on d6, and ding dong, the witch is dead if you don't do something fast. Imagine taking here, terminal. Now you're opening up the game for all the black pieces. You know, here's a sample line, and the rook's dropping, and all this sort of thing. It's just horrible. Black's doing amazingly well. So Gukesh really would have been in trouble with this simple plan, but missed. Crazy for a reigning world champion not seeing that idea. He goes g6, and it really is a bad move because now Gukesh gets time for a4, and if you go bishop g7, so what? What's your actual plan? Where's the follow-up? So that's why h5, preparing this move here of bishop h6, but it's all very, very slow. And in the meantime, Gukesh can find the excellent distractor pawn to b6. You can't take the pawn, or the knight in the center of the board drops. So that's why queen d6 was played, to hold both of these knights, but now bishop a3 pressuring down here, preparing to meet this, which was played with this move. Bang, takes on c5, intermezzo before moving the queen. Now we see takes, and the queen heads to the e4 square. Once the knight left c5, this one becomes available. Gukesh has just done it, kept the harmony, held everything together. You don't want to let the b7 pawn drop, so knight c6 stumbles back, and of course you couldn't take, or the knight would have dropped from e5, so the queen no longer has to babysit. And now this excellent move is played, putting the knight on the edge of the board. What a naughty glamour model that Gukesh is, but it's got to be one of the greatest pony maneuvers in the history of the World Championship. Watch this one, because after rook d7, by the way, not best, castling was better, but this is done to do some defensive work. Now the knight heads back to c2. Where is that one actually headed? You know, it's got no forward jumps. Complete mystery to everyone. We're watching this game, see how it unfolds though, because after the pawn does now drop, rook ab1 comes, and again Ding just doesn't approach the position with the energy he should. You know, knight b4 is not the best here, but okay, it's weird and kind of mixes it up. I mean, okay, it's not good here. You take, pawn takes, then there's queen e1 coming back, but in general, queen c7 defending, rook b5, castles, and now we see this amazing maneuver carry on, knight a1. Watch where it's headed, and Ding, you know, this is the wider point I'm trying to make, is just not playing with the energy he should here. You can play e5 in this moment. Now, it's not the top engine move, but it's so tricky because now you can continue with the knight into this square, but bang, f5, queen retreats. What about e4? There's a weirdo move, f4. You know, you're really getting counterplay, opening dark squares for your pieces. Who knows what the heck's going on, especially low on time here. Only winning move for white here, not winning, sorry, marginally better, is this weird looking move, opening your own king. Absolute craziness. This is the energy and the dynamism that the position needed. But Ding, he goes rook b8 here, miserably passive. Now we see knight b3 and it just gets worse. You know, at some moments he could have tried knight a7 or knight b4 or something, shed the pawn but go for activity. You can even go rook d6 here. Very weird maneuver to f6, but again it's about getting activity for the pawn. But instead we get e6 played, given the double question marks of doom, because now simply knight c5 comes. Yes, you created a home on e7, but the pawn's not even covered. You can just crash through. This wasn't played, but here's a sample line of how you win back the piece after sacrificing it. It's a fantastic endgame, a pawn ahead. But instead, Gukesh wants more, blitzes out this rook d to b1, given the miss as you can see here, and again, knight b4, order of the day, block the file, randomize things. Okay, not played. Instead, we see the shocking blunder for a World Chess Championship or any level of chess for these guys, the caliber they're at. Ding plays queen to c8, you know, opening the defense of a rook, that kind of thing, but completely overlooking an absolutely basic tactic for guys of this caliber. Gukesh now plays queen takes on c6, and well done if you saw the move, and it's absolutely game over.
It's game over. Blunder, a blunder with time pressure for Ding, and Ding resigns. It's game over. It's game over.
Sacrificing the queen for chess immortality at the World Championship. This is how the tactic flows if you take and you simply emerge a knight ahead. And if we run it back, you know, what if you take with the queen? Same themes. This time you're a rook ahead. You know, all roads lead to Singapore. So Gukesh takes it home. Gukesh A today. Got some help from Ding, but he absolutely nailed it with the opening choice, then the pressure on the clock. Took Ding into the woods where 2 + 2 = 5. Ding just didn't have the answer, collapsed. 3 more games to go. The championship now hotting up. Can Ding bounce back? Do smash subscribe if you're enjoying these videos, and have a look at the video on screen for another epic game of chess. Cheers.